Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I will be sharing with you some H1B application process tips and mistakes. You definitely need to stay tuned to the end of the video so you can learn about some of the mistakes so that your lawyer or yourself may not get into these mistakes and you're ready for the H1B process. You already know I'm on vacation in Jamaica, so today is Sunday, June 8th, I believe. I don't even know the dates anymore, but I told you I will be sharing videos along the way. I don't know what date it is today that you're seeing this video, but yes, it's June something 2025 currently. We're going to be talking about the tips, mistakes applying for H1B visa, and I'll show you around so you're not going to see me all the time in this video. So, again, if you have not subscribed to this channel as yet, go ahead and subscribe, turn the notification bells on, and do be on the lookout for more informative videos. Let's get straight to it, guys. All right, so let's start with the H1B process. I know a lot of people are interested in getting a job in the United States, whether it be on H1B visa or, whatever different type of visa that's available. Today we're talking about the H1B visa and how, you can get a teaching job in the United States, but we're focusing on the application process as well as some tips and mistakes. All right. So, the H1B visa, as most of you already know, it's a work visa that allows people to work in the United States, and it also has dual intent. So, for some successful tips in applying for the H1B visa, you want to make sure that you start your application process early. Starting early meaning you know the timeline, you know the time frame, and so when it is time for you to apply for your H1B visa, you are on task. You gather your documents, have those ready, and be ready for when they are opening the season for H1B. And we're gonna talk about when is that time shortly. All right, so that's step number one. Start early. Step number two, you want to make sure that you understand the cap and lottery system. I did mention in a video before that some H1Bs are not capped, like for teaching. There's no cap exempt, so they can apply for H1B visa whenever time they are ready as an educator. But others, there's a lottery system, there's a cap system, meaning that they're going to cut off and they're only going to allow a certain amount of visa for that year. All right. So usually, for um, regular cap exempt, it's like 65,000 visas that they usually offer, and then for the master cap, they usually have like 20,000 visas that they're gonna be offering. So yes, you want to understand the cap system and the lottery system for the H1B visa. Number three, you want to register during the USCIS pre-registration season, which is usually in March. So yes, that's usually in March. Right, so you want to make sure that you register during the USCIS pre-registration time, which is typically in March. So once it's March, you're gonna check to see when is pre-registration, and usually they file the petitions like 90 days after that. So you want to make sure you're on top of things. Also, you want to make sure that you have an accurate job description. You want to avoid generic job descriptions like just saying analyst, because analyst, what type of analyst are you? You want to specify what type of analyst you are. Be more specific. All right. And also make sure that your credentials are one that can afford you a specialist occupation H1B visa, because that's the type of visa is offered. You have to be able to get a specialist occupation. All right, you want to choose the right wage level, because if you don't have the right wage level, that might pose some problem, and that's where your lawyer is going to come in. So always ensure that you have a lawyer that is knowledgeable about the process of applying for a H1B visa. Also, you want to make sure your educational credentials are equivalent to a U.S. degree. how you're going to do that. You're going to make sure to get a credentials evaluation through an approved company like Macy's. So you can check out Macy's approved companies, and also the company that you're going to be interested in working with. What is it that they accept? Okay, so those are some tips. Those are start early, understand the cap and lottery, register during the USCIS pre-screening stage, choose the right wage, and make sure your documents, your credentials are equivalent to a US degree. Guys, we have five more that we're going to be looking at. If you've gotten this far to this video and you've not liked the video as yet, go ahead and like it, turn your notification bells on, subscribe to this channel, and comment if you have other tips that you would like to share with the viewers who are watching today. All right, so let's talk about some more tips. Very important. You want to maintain consistency when you apply for your H1B visa. What do I mean by maintaining consistency? You want to make sure that your LCA, whatever information you're putting on your LCA, that's the same information you're going to be putting on your I-129 form, and all other supporting documents should have the same information. You don't want to have it pitchy patchy with different information on all the forms, because then they're going to say there is not any truth to what is being applied for. Okay? Also, very important, you want to prepare for an RFE, which is a request for additional evidence. In most cases, they ask for you to show something. They usually be asking for other things. You want to make sure, have in mind what are some of the things that they would want to ask for, just in case, and have those ready. Your lawyer sometimes can tell you what some of those things are. All right. Also, you can track for filing deadlines, stay on top of things. As I say, March is when you're going to do your pre-application, and then within that 90 days, you're filing your petition. Stay on top of things, guys. Stay on top of things. Another important thing that you're going to need to do when applying for your H1B visa, especially if you're already here in the United States, is to make sure that you stay in status. For example, if you're on a J1 visa, you're going to be transitioning to an H1B visa. You want to make sure when you're doing that transition, your J1 is still valid, it's not expired, because if you're not in status, that can pose a problem for you. So it's very important. A very important tip is to stay in status. And one last tip, and then we're going to talk about the mistakes, is to make sure you're working with a reputable immigration lawyer. Sometimes we have a lot of immigration lawyers, but they have never ever worked on H1Bs, so they are not sure of what route to take and what application to be filed. And let me tell you this: I am a testimony. In 2021, my H1B was denied because of a simple mistake by a lawyer. A simple mistake that a lawyer did not share with my employer to sign one aspect of the form, just one signature, and my application was denied. And I blame the lawyer, because the lawyer is being paid to do the paperwork, the documentation. So the employer is not aware of what to sign and where to sign. So the lawyer's responsibility was to tell the employer where to sign. And because of that simple mistake of not signing one line on the entire form, my H1B was denied. So definitely, guys, learn from my mistake and make sure you're using a reputable immigration lawyer. Now we're going to talk about mistakes. What are some mistakes that are made when filing for the H1B visas? Alright, so some of the mistakes are, filing late. We did talk about ensuring that you are filing on time. So if you file late, definitely you're going to be hindering yourself and the process, because you might not get through. And if it sounds windy, remember I'm on the waterfront, so yes, it's going to be windy, but it's very cool, guys. Another mistake is that you file the wrong afraid to ask your lawyers questions. It's your application, it's your petition. You're the one who's going to get an approval or a denial, not the lawyer. So don't be afraid to ask questions. Another mistake is that you have a weak job description. I mentioned earlier, make sure your job description is one that will entitle you or allow you to get an H1B visa. Also, if you ignore changes in work location, that can also be a mistake when applying for your H1B visa, especially if you're changing from one H1B to a next. And yes, you can change H1B jobs. Don't let anybody tell you that you cannot change H1B jobs. Another mistake is missing explanation. Another mistake is missing employer and employee relationship. Because if someone is hiring you, there's some type of relationship you built during your application and stuff like that. And what are the offer that you got and the acceptance that was made, stuff like that. You know, the employer has to sign stuff, the employee has to sign stuff. So application cannot go in without proof that you actually got a job that you took on and approved. Okay? A very, very important mistake we don't want to make is to overstay on a visa, on any type of visa. You don't want to overstay on any. You don't want to overstay on any type of visa because that definitely can pose a problem when you go to apply for your H1B visa. And the last mistake we're looking at is if you don't maintain public access to your information and things that they, if you don't maintain public access and things they may need for your application, that may pose a problem. They may say you're hiding things. So you want to make sure whatever you're sending, it's public. They can access it, they can see it, and know that everything is legit on your end. So yes, those are some of the mistakes and some of the tips that you need to take into consideration when applying for your H1B visa. And no, you cannot apply for your own H1B visa. You have to get a job offer from an employer, and that employer should also be eligible to apply for an H1B visa. So there are a lot of things that is in the background that you need to be aware of, and you need to do some research on to make sure you're not just getting a job offer from any company because that company may not be eligible to offer you an H1B visa. If you like this video and this information was useful, please leave a comment in the comment section below. Also, if you've not liked this video yet, go ahead and like it, share with somebody who needs this information, and tell me in the comment section as well what else you would like to learn about H1B visas and teaching in the United States. If I did not say it earlier, my name is Dr. Britton, and on this platform I share how you can get a teaching job in the United States. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye! As I sit here in this cool breeze, enjoying my time just looking on the ocean. Bye, guys.